So let's start with the IC engine course. So this is the first video of it, introduction to the IC engine. So we'll define what are the heat engines, and then we'll classify heat engine, and then I'll also define different components of a typical engine, and with the terminologies as required for other exams, and then we'll classify the IC engine. So general heat engine. So let me define the heat engine first. So it can be defined as any engine that converts thermal energy to a mechanical work output, something like a steam engine or a diesel engine or a gasoline engine. And then they are defined by uh, difference in the control volume they have. So first we have the internal combustion engine, and then we have external combustion engine. So the internal combustion engine means the there is a control volume, and in that the control volume the combustion happens, and from the same control volume the work has been given out. And external combustion engine, so here there is a control volume in which the combustion will happen, and the heat is been transferred from one control volume to another control volume using some intermediate medium, and then in the second control volume we convert the heat to a mechanical work output. So in the internal combustion engine and the external combustion engine, both are being differentiated by two ways. One way, one of them would be the rotary engine, and another would be a reciprocating engine. So a rotary engine means that the both of the ends of the engine are moving in a circular fashion, while in a reciprocating engine, one of the end can move in a circular fashion, but the other end has to reciprocate in a single to and fro motion, so up and down or a left to right motion. And further they can be classified into many different ways, but the very common are the gasoline engine, which are the petrol engine, and the diesel engine, which are used in our car. The steam engine and the steam turbine are used for power generation, and the steam engine is used for power generation, and steam turbine can be used for aircraft and all. So there are only rotating blades in them, there is no reciprocating component in there. So starting going ahead with the heat engine, so majorly we will care about the internal combustion engine, and external combustion engine is being covered extensively in the Brayton and Rankine cycle and all in applied thermodynamics. So over here we'll be majorly concerned about the internal combustion engine. So we can have two types of internal combustion engine, which are spark ignition engine and a compression ignition engine. And spark ignition is said as SI engine, and compression ignition said as CI engine. And then again the working of the internal combustion engine, there could be two types of cycles. So one we have a 4-stroke cycle, and another we have a 2-stroke cycle. So let me define spark ignition also. So in spark ignition engine, which generally uses gasoline or petrol as its fuel, and over here we have a spark plug which will ignite the fuel, while because the petrol which we use has a very high auto ignition temperature, and the compression is not enough to raise its temperature such that it will auto ignite. While in a compression ignition engine, we generally use diesel, and it has a relatively lower auto ignition temperature, hence with a bit larger compression ratio of around 15 to 20, we can easily auto ignite the fuel, so we do not require a external spark to ignite. And I'll define the 4-stroke and 2-stroke later. So these are the common components, so I'll define most the common components of a 4-stroke diesel engine or a petrol engine. So most common components are the cylinder block, the cylinder combustion chamber, piston, crankshaft, connecting rod, piston rings, intake manifold, carburetor, spark plug, valves. So there are two valves, intake and exhaust valve, exhaust manifold, intake manifold is also there, and an exhaust system, and a flywheel. And there are many other components and terminologies. I'll define them as we go on. So what is the engine block? So this is the engine block which houses the cylinder inside it, in between it. So this is a circular or a circular cross section. So the cross section, so at the cross section the outer part has the cylinder block. The top head which closes it is called as cylinder head. These jackets which are there, so these are used for cooling the engine block. So because the temperature can rise up to 2000 degrees Celsius also, so we want to reduce and take away the heat from the cylinder. Hence these water jackets are used, which will contain cooling water inside them. And the top is cylinder head. This is the cylinder block. This volume which will keep varying as this piston goes up and down. So this is the piston, this is the connecting rod. This volume is said as the combustion chamber, and this piston moves up and down in reciprocating motion. And this is the connecting rod which connects the piston and the crank on the other end. So this is the crank, this is the crankshaft, and it will have a rotary motion over here. And the other end of the connecting rod, this is the small end, this is the large big end. This end will have a reciprocating motion. From here the air fuel mixture comes in for the petrol cycle, and this is the petrol cycle engine because it has a spark plug. So we can easily see that if the diagram has a spark plug, it means it is a petrol cycle engine or a SI engine. While for a diesel engine or a CI engine, compression ignition engine, we won't have a spark plug, we'll have a fuel injector over here which will inject the fuel. So the liquid fuel will come out from here as droplets, very small particulate matter droplets. From here for this SI engine, we'll have air fuel mixture coming here. This is the intake valve, this is the exhaust valve. The intake valve is being connected to camshaft, and this is also connected to camshaft. And camshaft and crankshaft are being tuned to each other. So when it comes to the topmost position and when it is coming down from topmost position to the bottom position, this will get open and it will let the mixture come in. And alongside, after combustion, the products of combustion has to leave out. So in that case, this will come out, him will come here, it will compress it, the exhaust valve will open, and all the products of combustion will be pushed outside. So this camshaft are tuned here with the crankshaft through a chain, so that is called as a timing chain. And this profile which is there, which will guide when the valve has to open and when the valve has to close, is called as the cam. Okay, and the pin over here, so let me show. The pin which connects the connecting rod and the piston is called as the gudgeon pin. And this is the flywheel, and the flywheel is been connected to the crankshaft. So this is the crankshaft, and this the timing chain is being connected from crankshaft to the cam over here, and also to the engine, so outlet of the engine. And we can see that there are 4 pistons connected to the same crankshaft, and there can be 5, there can be 3 anyway, and they can be arranged in many different ways. So these are in line, there could be in V fashion also. And then here we can see that the second and third are tuned, while the first and fourth are tuned together. So in that case, the combustion will happen at the same time in these two, and at 180 degree apart it will happen in the first and fourth. So it is said as 1-4 and 2-3 engine. And the piston motion direction are shown here. These are the connecting rod, this is the crankshaft, the red one, and this is the flywheel. I'll describe what is the function of flywheel later. So it is very much similar, but here we can see that the bottom part of the crank, the cylinder, is called as the crankcase, and we have a space over here in which we put oil, which we say as the engine oil. So engine oil is used to reduce the friction. So there will be friction when the piston is moving up and down between the friction outer diameter and the inner diameter of the cylinder. So to reduce the friction we use oil, and when it comes down and up, the oil gets so the parts get oiled and the friction reduces. I'll also mention that there are rings over here on the piston, and I'll describe the function of those rings later. So I have described most of the parts: cylinder block, cylinder, piston, combustion chamber, crankshaft, connecting rod, piston rings, intake manifold. So intake manifold, it means that uh, there is a inlet of the air, the surrounding air is being captured, then we have put a air filter, and then the air filter, due to suction in the cylinder, so in the cylinder during its cycle there is a suction happening, and that suction will suck the air from the outside. So it sucks the air, and we have made an arrangement so that depending on the air, the mass flow rate of air, the fuel is being come the fuel rises upside, uh, and at the correct air fuel ratio it will rise and it will get mixed with the air. So henceforth the air fuel mixture passes to the intake. So this is a common intake manifold, and exhaust manifold also looks like this. So we have an inlet for air, the outside air is being captured, then we can put air filter, and then the air is being distributed to different cylinders. So here we had 4 cylinders, so it will be supplied to all 4 cylinders as per the timing. And we have exhaust system. So similarly the exhaust gases also comes out. So there can be 4 pipes which will collect all the exhaust gases which are the products of combustion, and that 4 pipes will merge to itself, and then the merge pipe, so that small system is called as the exhaust manifold, and then the exhaust pipe comes out, and then there are few components which are used. So one is the catalytic converter. So it will convert the harmful gases which are the outlet which will come out from the combustion, which are NOx, SOx and COx, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxides and nitrogen dioxides. So they will convert to lesser harmful gases, and the particulate matter is also captured over there. And then we have another component which is a resonance chamber. So what it will do, it will reduce the noise and the noise the noise pollution. And you would have seen that if we remove the exhaust system, then our bikes will make a louder noise. So this is the reason behind them. Now let me define the walls, and no, let me define the carburetor. So carburetor is same as the venturi meter. So we have a venturi meter which will measure the mass flow rate of our fuel and air, and it will also maintain the correct air fuel ratio. And this part is generally made of aluminium by sand casting. And let come to the piston ring. So these are the piston rings. So generally they are made of metal, and they are applied on the piston using a press fit, and there are circumferential grooves on our piston in which the rings will be placed. So for a 4-stroke engine, so this is a 4-stroke engine. So for 4-stroke engine there are 3 rings, 2 at the top, which are called as the compression rings. So it will not let the compressed air. So when the piston comes at the top position, when there is air fuel mixture in there, the pressure rises, and the piston rings will not let the pressure to leak. The air fuel mixture cannot come out from the combustion chamber. And there is one third ring which is at the bottom position, that is called as the oil ring. And since we had the oil here, the oil ring will not let the oil, which is the lubricating component, not let it to go in the combustion chamber and mix with the air fuel mixture. Now let's come to the more technical terminologies. So we have something called as clearance volume, piston volume, swept volume, stroke, bore, small and big end I have already described with respect to the connecting rod. So now let's start with the bore. Bore is the inner diameter of our cylinder or of the combustion chamber, and there is a small clearance kept between the outside diameter of our piston and the inner diameter of our cylinder, but that is very small, while the rings which the piston rings will have no clearance between the inner surface and its outer surface of the piston rings. Then let me define the TDC and BDC, which are very important. So TDC is the top dead center and BDC is the bottom dead center. So the top dead center means that, let me use this diagram. So top dead center means when the piston is farthest from the crank. It is from the farthest from the crank means it is at the topmost position with respect to the combustion chamber. So, and top is said because it is, because this position is the top of the engine, so it is the engine is placed generally like this. The oil sump is at the bottom, and the dead is said because the piston stops at that position for a while. And we can also say it as head and dead center or top center, and whatever volume remains inside the combustion chamber when the piston is at TDC is called as the clearance volume. So when it comes top, it will come till this position. So whatever volume it remains inside the combustion chamber is called as the clearance volume. And when it is at the BDC means the bottom dead center. So it is closest to the crankshaft. So this bottommost line will come here, and at BDC the total volume of the combustion chamber is the maximum volume. Then we have the stroke. Stroke means the movement of a piston from TDC to BDC or BDC to TDC. Stroke length means the length covered. Then the stroke volume or the swept volume, displacement volume or swept volume means the volume which is covered by the piston in the movement from TDC to BDC or BDC to TDC. So it will cover only this much volume. This is the clearance volume. So this is said as Vs, this is said as Vc, and the total volume is the Vs plus Vc. And compression ratio is the ratio of total volume, which is the Vs plus Vc, to the clearance volume. So it would be generally larger than 1 obviously, and for an SI engine it will lie uh, below 10, from 8 to 10, and for CI engine it generally lies from 15 to 20. Okay.